Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be taking this beautiful set that I did on my client. I will leave that video linked if you guys missed it. We did the optical illusion type of nail art with flames, as you guys can see. And of course, we used green for her set. I'm going to be transforming this set into some Halloween vibes. We are going to be recreating another nail artist's work, so I will definitely leave them linked down below if I have that information. If I don't, I'll try to find it. I'm going to be just simply taking my e-file and filing off that gel design. I am using very light pressure when I am doing this process because I do not want to remove any of the acrylic at this point. I just simply want to remove that thin layer of top coat and nail art that we painted on there. I have my e-file speed at 11,000 RPMs and I'm using the Kiara Sky 5-in-1 bit in medium grit. And I'm just going to make sure that I am focusing on removing that design by moving across the nail to prevent any heat spikes and any type of burning that the client might experience when you stay in one spot for too long. So make sure you just move across the entire nail consistently and lift up your bit as you're working as well to kind of cool off your bit a little bit. I'm going in with my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file, and I'm going to be filing the sides not only to resharpen up that stiletto shape, but also to fully remove that extra gel paint that I missed for my e-file. For whatever reason, I could never get the gel polish off on that side. I just miss it all the time. So I'm just going to simply take my hand file and remove that while also reshaping them at the same time. I'm going to be holding the opposite side of the area that I'm working on to make sure that I do not cause discomfort to my client. If I do not hold it steadily, I'm going to get a really messed up shape, and I'm also going to cause the client to be a little bit uncomfortable, as you can kind of pull and tug on their natural nail while doing this process, especially with longer nails like this. Now I'm going quickly back in with my 5-in-1 bit, and we're gonna actually be debulking that acrylic near the cuticle area. And the reason that I'm doing this is not only to get a more flush and flawless fill, but I also want to make sure that I'm removing any lifting that she may have. She has very little to none, so I'm not having to do too much work, but I still feel like I get a better result if I go in and just flush it a little bit more to that natural nail, so that when I go in with my fill, it just kind of all flows seamlessly and it's not super bulky in that area. So I'm just gonna quickly take that and file it down a little bit. Next, we're gonna be taking the not polished Mandrel bit and the Profiles Backstage sanding band in the color purple in medium grit. We're gonna be just simply buffing off the shine from her natural nail while also pushing back her cuticles. This is just my preference, but if you feel more comfortable using a cuticle pusher, by all means, go ahead and do that. I quickly wanted to send a quick prayer to the Profiles Backstage team and everyone in the South Florida area that got hit by Hurricane Ian. If you guys have ever experienced a hurricane, it is the most terrifying thing ever. So many people's homes got destroyed and a lot of people are struggling. So if you find it in your heart to support a small business, I know you guys already absolutely adore their products as much as I do, please make sure to put in an order and just support them to get back on their feet. It is a scary time and a scary thing to go through, so make sure you guys support their small business as much as we love them. They will truly appreciate it as well. I'm going in with this cone bit. It is perfect for that cuticle area. I'm going to be removing that excess dead skin that I may have missed with my mandrel bit. Still low speed of 4,000 RPMs, very light pressure. I'm just going to be going in very quickly. Now I'm going in with a lint-free wipe and a little bit of Young Nail Swipe, my favorite combo to dehydrate and cleanse the natural nail from any excess dust and oils. You want to make sure you do not skip this step. It will help everything adhere really, really well. Now I'm going in with the acrylic primer from Kiara Sky. It has been my go-to. It is a nice thick consistency, so make sure you are just using a very light amount of that on the natural nail. And then I'm just focusing on the natural nail portion because the acrylic will adhere to the acrylic very well. So I'm just focusing on the natural nail portion because that is the area that I want the new product to adhere to. So we're going to be going in again, thin layer, very small amount. Now I'm going in with the clear acrylic from Not Polish. It has been my go-to. I know you guys can see the Young Nails acrylic container right there, but it's just a very large acrylic container that I have been refilling with the Not Polish powder. So I'm going to be going in and infilling the growth. And I'm also going to be slightly rebalancing her nails just to add extra thickness to the rest of it. As we all know, once the nail starts growing out, it can lose some of the structure in the areas that you may need it. And even though she hasn't had a lot of growth, I still want to make sure that I am evening everything out. And to do so, I'm just going to go in with more beads of acrylic on the entire nail to make sure that everything is nice and even. I'm taking a pretty good amount of acrylic to try to build up that apex a little bit more as well. So you'll see me picking up a medium to large bead of acrylic to do the fill portion on her larger nail beds versus the pinky. So I'm just going in now. I believe that was a medium bead, and we're just going to be pushing that up near the cuticle area, then very quickly blending it out. And of course, I'm going to be applying more acrylic to the areas that I feel like need a little bit more acrylic. Now for reference, I am using the monomer from Kiara Sky. That has also been my go-to as well. And then my brush is from Profiles Backstage. I prefer to use this one because it is a little bit on the smaller side. I believe this one is my size 10 brush. It is really, really good quality. Always recommend their brushes, but because it is smaller, I feel like it's easier for me to do fills with a smaller brush. Now we're going to be going in with the Kiara Sky E-File once everything is nice and dry. I'm actually using the Pro 5-in-1 bit from Kiara Sky. And it's going to be a really good bit to just finish file. It's nice and tapered, skinnier than the typical 5-in-1 bit. So I really, really like that for the cuticle area. And then I'm just going very, very lightly across the nail to make sure everything is nice and smooth. Now, if you guys are not familiar with this bit, it has 5 different coarse, medium, fine, and extra fine grits on it throughout the bit. So definitely recommend this if you guys want a very versatile bit to use. I'm going to be going in and reshaping those nails once again because as we all know, once you add acrylic to that, no matter how neat you lay it, you can mess up the shape a little bit and it adds a little bit of thickness. So I just want to make sure that I thin it back out. And then I'm also going in with my hand file to file the surface of the nail. I have been loving hand filing nails just because you get better grasp of your hand file. It is a lot quicker in my opinion also because you don't have to be as careful as you do with an e-file, just my personal opinion. So I'm going to be going in, filing the sides, and then very quickly filing the surface as well, making sure that it is bump and ridge free. And I'm going in with my buffer from Makartt. This one I had on hand, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use it. Typically, I like to use the profile ones just because it does make everything extra smooth, but this one also does a really good job of that. I've actually been using this one at home, so I really like it as well. It's a little bit more on the coarse side, which for some people is a better option. So definitely recommend this one if you guys are looking for a more coarse grit buffer. Now we're getting into the nail art portion nice and strong with the color green. Of course it is Britney's, so we had to go in with some green for this Halloween set. I'm really excited to be doing this design for you guys because I feel like it's super easy to recreate and it's super cute and definitely Halloween vibes. So we're going to be starting off with the green gel nail art liner from Profiles Backstage, the basic green color from their collection. And then I'm mixing in a little bit of their black liner to create this deeper tone green, more of that like creepy vibe green. So I'm going to be doing some fingers on this hand. And I do not like to layer on my gel paint. I've talked about this a lot on my channel. It's just my preference. I feel like it leaves more room for chipping, peeling, and it not curing properly. So I prefer to minimize the amount of layers that I add on top of each other. So for this design, it consists of the green finger and a black outline. And to minimize the amount of layers that I'm adding on top of each other, I know a lot of you would probably prefer to add a black layer of paint and then go in with the detail of the green finger. But instead, I'm adding the finger first, and I'm doing it very messy. As you can see, I'm not adding much shape to it. I'm pretty much just covering the majority of her nail with that green. And then I'm going to be going in with the black outline again, just to minimize the amount of layers. And honestly, I feel like it was a little bit easier this route because then I don't have to be super careful with the way that I'm applying green, and the black is going to naturally fully cover the green portion. So you'll be able to go in with the black and just add those little details that you need. So again, a little bit of green mixed with black to deepen up that green color, and we're pretty much just adding it to the majority portion of her nail. Now, because these are liners and not gel paints, I am going to be adding in a second layer of it to darken everything up. Liners typically are a little bit more on the sheer side. The consistency of the paint is a lot thinner, more runny. So the opaqueness of it obviously is a little bit more sheer in comparison to a thicker viscosity of a paint. So just a heads up, I am adding a thin second coat of that green just to make everything nice and opaque so that you don't see it streaky and it's not super patchy like the first layer of it is. Of course, always cure in between layers to make sure that you are not just wiping off the rest of the paint that you originally applied. And then of course I'm just going in again with my 3D nail art brush to maximize my time and use and work my products efficiently. Now for the opposite hand, we're going to be doing some bones, and for this design I actually did decide to do a thin layer of black and then go in with the bone design. The bone design would be just too tricky in my opinion to try to do that first and then go in with the black. I just figured it would be a lot easier to go in with a thin layer of black and then go in with the bones. And I just showed you guys the application on one of the nails because I feel like it's super repetitive, so nothing fancy about applying black gel polish. That one is the black gel paint liner as well, and I just applied it again with my 3D brush fully across the entire hand. Now for the little nails, they had little stiletto nails, which is perfect. And we're going to be going in with the red gel paint from Profiles Backstage, mixed with a little bit of the black liner to deepen it up once again. And we're just going to be drawing in those tiny little stiletto nails, which just consist of like a pointy tip and the rounded cuticle area. And then we're going to be going in with the rest of the details. Again, always remember to cure in the light whenever you feel it is necessary. I make sure that I cure in between layers so nothing smudges. And I always put it in the light for a full 60 seconds or as long as I'm working on the opposite hand. And for this portion of the nail art, I am going in with one of my detail brushes from Not Polish. I will leave everything linked down below for you guys along with discount codes so you guys can shop the products if you guys are interested. And I'll also leave my go-to nail art brushes as well because I know those are a little bit more affordable and they are absolutely good quality. I just had this one on hand and they are a little bit thinner than the ones that I get from Amazon. So when it comes to like more detailed little designs, I prefer to use these. But they do have different sizes available in the bristles for the other brushes as well. So I'll leave both linked down below.
No matter what the odds may bring our way, I can see the blessings coming our way, yeah. Blessings on blessings, yeah. I see the blessings coming our way.
Now for the other hand, we're going to be doing the little bone details against the black background. So for that, I'm taking the same nail art brush and we're going to be taking now the gel art liner in the color white from Profiles Backstage. And I'm going to be going in and drawing the bones. So quite frankly, I would like to mention that the easier, more time effective way of doing the bones would definitely to use a dotting tool. I, for whatever reason, thought I would never need them again in my life, and I threw away all my dotting tools. So I'll definitely need to invest in some again so that I can make my life a little bit easier and show you guys how to do things a little bit easier. But for that, I would totally just do 2 dots next to each other on the bottom portion that you see me drawing now, and then curve the line up and infill the rest of the area. That would be so much easier than having to round each of the little bone details off. So do as I say and not as I'm doing to make your life a little bit easier, of course. So we're going to be going in and doing the second part of the bone. And then again, remember to cure whenever you feel it is necessary. I'm going to go ahead and do all of the nails with the bone design and then cure. But that's just simply because I feel like it is simple enough for me to not smudge anything. Now, if I knew that I was going to be doing a lot more detailed painting, I would absolutely cure every nail in between before I went in onto the next one. However, it's pretty easy, nothing super complicated, and I felt like I wasn't going to smudge anything. So I'm going to be going in with another little bone detail, and then we're going to be going in with the final one, and that's pretty much it for this design. Super, super simple. Again, very easy to recreate. If you guys try it out, let me know and tag me, please. Now back to the creepy fingers. We're going to be going in with the black gel liner. I forgot to start recording. My phone always runs out of memory, so we're just starting on the other side of the details. So again, taking my detail liner brush from Not Polish, we're going to be infilling the rest of the nail and then kind of curving it in midway. So you can notice that right there, it kind of bends inwards towards the green, and then we flare it back out. I'm going to be also outlining the nail to give it a little bit more detail and make it pop a little bit more. And then we're going to be doing tiny little lines in where the knuckles would typically be, just to give it more of that vibe. Again, we are recreating this from a different nail artist, so I will definitely leave that linked so you guys do not think that I came up with this on my own. This is definitely a recreation. We're going to be going in, again, see, curving it a little bit right in the center and then just simply infilling the rest. And now you can pretty much define the finger design without worrying about the black not covering or anything like that. I feel like honestly it's a little bit easier for me to work with black. I don't know why, but I just feel like it is very easy for me to work with black, so I preferred this method of drawing it. And of course, make sure you guys cure this in the light. I always go in one last round in the light for 60 seconds to make sure all the layers are fully cured. Once we're out of the light, we're going in with top coat. I am using the Not Polished Gloss It top coat, adding a thin layer of that, making sure that I'm fully covering those nails. I want to make sure that everything is fully coated and we do not get any chipping. So make sure that you get it all on the sides. And then I always like to wipe the sides before I cure anything so that it's not messing up my shape at all and it's not super bulky on the sides as well. But that pretty much concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Don't forget to top off the entire set with a little bit of cuticle oil to make sure that you get the perfect finish picture results. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned a ton, and I'll see you guys next time.